Hey, I'm Lauren from tastypc.tv. Today I'm going to be reviewing Corsair's Vengeance C70 case. Now I'm really excited to be doing this case review. One of the many reasons is that it's not a fan. So this is the first case in Corsair's Vengeance series. It's mid-tower and it's been made from rugged steel and designed to be easily transported. And you can get it in either black, white or military green. I've gone for the military green version. So as you might have noticed, it's already been built up, and that's because I'm filming out a sequence, and the first introduction I did, I messed up a little bit, and I didn't realise until right at the end that I'd need to refilm it. So I'm about to bring the camera over and show you what the case looks like empty. So let's get started. So if we start at the top, we have the power button, the hard drive activity LED, the microphone and headphone jacks, 2 USB 3 ports, and the best reset button ever. I mean, look how cool is that? I could actually play with that all day. So then we have 3 5.25 inch optical bays and a front air intake grill with a dust filter behind it. Although I can't actually take off the front panel at the moment because you have to first take off both the side panels, so I'll do that last. And then at the bottom down here you've got the front half of the bottom dust filter. Just slide out and slide back in. So taking a look at the top of the case, we have 2 very sturdy carry handles, and I really love that Corsair have added these in because I really hate carrying cases from the bottom. You've also got mounts for either 2 120mm or 2 140mm fans, and because of that you can either fit in a 240 or 280mm radiator. So I'm just going to turn the case around and have a look at the back. So at the top we have some ventilation holes and 2 ungrommeted water cooling holes. I find it very unusual that Corsair hasn't grommeted these. Space to mount 120mm exhaust fan, 8 PCI expansion slots, and some ventilation down the side, which I think works great if you're using a non-reference graphics card that exhausts into the case, because it means most of the heat can escape out of here. Space to mount a power supply, and the other half of the bottom dust filter, which just slides in and out like the front half. I much prefer it that Corsair have put these into 2 halves because I always found it really annoying trying to faff around pull out a full-sized one. So if I take you for a look around the side of the case. So on the side of the case we've got a tinted window and space to mount either 2 120mm or 2 140mm fans. Now normally I prefer a case with like a clear window and no fan mounting holes, but I have to say that I think the tinted window really goes well with the rugged look of the case. So to remove this side panel you've got the same latches you normally find on most toolboxes, which I really love. I think they're called quick release latches. So you just pop it up, pull it out, and it's that simple. So I'm just gonna take the camera over so you can get a better look at the case. So taking a look around the inside the case, we have the 3 tool-free 5.25 inch optical bays, 2 removable hard drive cages with 3 removable hard drive bays in each, which can take either 3.5 inch or 2.5 inch hard drives or solid states. We've got 3 grommeted holes for cable management and another large ungrommeted one up here for cable management. The PCI expansion slots just use these simple thumb screws, and this case can support graphics cards as long as 320mm. So this case can have either ATX or micro ATX motherboard. So the 2 USB 3 ports in the front, this is how they connect to the motherboard, and Corsair have been kind enough to include an adapter so that you can use it with your old USB 2 motherboards. So if we just talk about cooling in this case quick, so this case has 11 fan mounts, and Corsair have already included 3 120mm fans in this case. You can fit 2 in the top, 2 in the side panel exhausting out. You can have 2 120mm fans here which would obviously bring air in from the front of the case, cooling the hard drives. You obviously got your 120mm one up there. Now in the floor here, you can fit one 120 or 140mm fan, but then you can also remove this hard drive cage and the plastic bit and fit another 120mm or 140mm fan here, and then you can actually fit either a 240 or 280mm radiator, and if you feel like it, have a dual loop setup, but then you will lose this fan here. Also, which I will show you when I remove the front panel, you can fit either two 120mm fans or one 140mm fan in the front. So if I take you around and show you the other side of the case. So taking a look at the other side of the case, here it's pretty much plain, just like you'd expect, although it has been raised slightly to help fit cables. So you take off the side panel same as the other side, just with these latches. So here you've got a large cutout to easily fit a CPU cooler backplate. Corsair have also added a lot of cable tie fitting points and these built-in clamps. You just squeeze it and it comes out, and then you just squeeze it and pull it back in. So to remove the front panel, you've got these little clamps down each side, 3 down each side, and take it off, you just squeeze them all and just pull, but I'm not gonna like struggle with it on camera, so I'm just gonna take off the front panel, turn it round and then show you it. So looking at the other side of the front panel, we can see that it has a removable dust filter. Like I said before, there's space to mount either two 120mm fans or one 140mm fan. There's also 2 holes where you can put the fan cables through. So what I'm going to do now is put a system in the C70, have a mooch for some parts. Now, as amazing as this case would look with an Acer Sabertooth motherboard and 2 690s in it, I'm not fortunate enough to have those parts. So I will try my best to make sure it doesn't colour clash. So I've just finished building the rig and I know that the colours don't go, but I did try my best. I decided on using Noctua and FF12 fans because they're the best performing and the quietest fans that I have, and I think that they went really well with the colour of the case. It created like a camouflage look. It's just a shame that they don't go with the blue motherboard or the red cables. So I've also fitted a H100. And what I did was I fitted the motherboard, then the H100 and then the fans, and I found myself having the fun of trying to fit them in this little gap up here. So what I would advise to you is, if you're going to use a radiator, fit the fans to it first before putting it in the case. So in terms of the top radiator, I measured it and it looks like the maximum size of radiator you can fit is 50mm like thick, and then you can only use that with a single set of fans, and even that depends on how the top of your motherboard is designed. Another thing that I did notice about this case was that I didn't actually have the space to fit a 120mm or 140mm fan here, and even if I'd removed the bottom cage, I couldn't have fit a second radiator there, and that's just because of the length of the power supply I'm using and the fact that all the cables are in the way. So if you do want to fit a fan there, or if you do want to have a second radiator, then you need to use a power supply smaller than 165mm, so you'd probably be alright with something like an AX750. So this case has better cooling than my old 800D case, and that's probably just due to how many fans you can have in this case. Right, so what I'm going to do now is turn it around and show you what I've done to the back. So looking at the back of the case, the first thing you can see is that I'm not very good at cable management, but I did try my best. So the raised backplate actually really helps give you more space for cable management. So as you can see, I am using individually braided PSU cables that you can buy from the online Corsair store. And I did actually ask them if there was any chance they could make these available to retailers in the UK, and maybe even bundle them in with power supplies so you don't have to buy them separately. But they said that they're a very specialised product and that they have no plans to do so at this time. So I didn't use the built-in cable tie clips in the end. I just decided to cable tie everything. So I think I've said everything about the case. Hopefully I have. So now it's time to move on to the conclusion. So I really love Corsair's Vengeance C70 case. It was exactly what I was expecting from Corsair. Now with how it looks, you'll either love it or you'll hate it. And personally, I love how it looks because I think with the right components, you could create a really unique looking rig. So I almost feel pressured to hunt out the flaws in this case, because as I am a new reviewer, I know that a lot of people won't trust the review I give if I give this case a glowing award. I feel like people will think I'm just trying to buddy up with Corsair to get free parts, and that's not the case at all. I will always be honest in my reviews. I mentioned the fact that I didn't like the side panel, that you can't use a second radiator if you're using a power supply longer than 165mm. I know a lot of you will be like, why didn't I mention the fact that the side panel doesn't come with dust filters? And you've got to buy more fans for this case anyway, and you can buy dust filters online separately, very cheaply, and it really shouldn't be a problem when purchasing a case. So I really do love this case, and I'm going to bite the bullet and give the Corsair Vengeance C70 Tasty PC's first ever 5-star gold award. Now I know my award system isn't the greatest, and the comparison between the value and gold award is a little confusing, and I do plan to rethink the system, but a lot's going on at Tasty PC at the moment, which is one of the reasons why I haven't made a video for so long, so sorry about that. But this is the first case review I've ever done, so please leave me some feedback. Anything you think I can do differently next time, let me know. So if you liked it, remember to hit the like button, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching. So I'm going to leave you with some footage that I took of the case while it's on.